Hey guys, come on in. Come on in. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. I won't be long because I got a lot to do, but I got to show y'all something that I just discovered that's very fishy. I think we have been all the way invaded. Get some people in here. We gotta talk. Can y'all hear me now? My bad. 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 I didn't say too much. I was just explaining what had happened. I don't have a lot of time, but I have to explain this to you guys because this has been bothering me ever since I read that executive order online. It's been bothering me because I'm just like, how did this go over our head? How did $70 billion go over our head? And a few things stuck out to me in that executive order. One thing being how they were using the word foundational in that executive order. Another thing that stuck out to me was how were they selecting which industries to go in if this was just like how are they doing this, right? So it prompted me to go back into the executive order, right? I went all the way back to the treaty room, the Indian treaty room and where they were, and I noticed that there's actually two that goes together. There was two executive boards that go together. One, I'll show you. I'll show you. Click like in here. Come on in. We gotta figure this out because we have been fully invaded, guys. And this is what I'm saying. My antennas was on something else. My antennas was on the land. A lot of our antennas was on the land. And of course, we everybody can't see everything. Everybody can't see everything. So for those of you who are in these certain cliques or organizations, just hold 1 second. Just have an open mind because we have been fully invaded. I mean, when I say fully, so click like in here, guys. Share the live. Whoever is sharing this on Twitter, thank you because every live I see a lot of the views coming from Twitter in my, back office. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate you guys. Share, 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 share. If you have had a family member that is dealing with the benefits from taking the shot, not benefits, it was supposed to be benefits. the fallout from taking the shot or passed away from taking the shot. I think this went over our head. I think we were really invaded, and it was by people who look like us. I'm gonna show y'all this. Okay, Ashley, I'll check it when I get off. I'll check when I get off. You shared my live. Thank you so much. The sound is so low. Oh, people still saying they can't hear me. That's crazy. The sound is high. Can y'all hear me now? I don't want to be too loud. My thing going off the meter here. Yes. Hold on. Let me show y'all something. So again, I went back into what I was reading to y'all the other day, and then I found something else. Found something else. So let me show you guys. So this is what I went back to, because again, I was trying to find out, okay, so how are they divvying out the money? How are they selecting where to give this? I'm just going to say 80 billion that was taken from America and put into Africa using Black Americans, using our struggle. And this rabbit hole goes so deep. I don't know how. I have no clue how this went over everybody's head. I don't know how we haven't been figured this out. I don't know how I'm the first person to even point this out. I don't know. So it's these two. It's the Pack A, right? This is just engagement that got 80 billion, right? And then, so these two work together. It's the Pack A and the Pack DBIA. They're working together. So this is how they figure out where the money goes to, right? So when you click on this one, it's full of all kinds of people. But these two go together. And so I went to start looking up, tried to find more about this one, the board members, right? And then I found these board members. And it's like, well, these are not just this all kind of people on this board. Look. The actual vice chair for Pfizer is on this board, right? And so I'm like, well, whoa. Okay, so that money, how they structured that bill in order to get the money, they literally use our story. I read it, right? They not only use our story on that bill, they also use our story on their websites, right? And so it goes even deeper than this Pfizer vice chair being on the board. They have meetings together. In 2024, they knew that it was a possibility that Trump would be in office. So they were planning even for after, and getting so much money. Like we counted over 80 billion for this one. We haven't even counted this one. And it's not just Africans. It's Africans, white people, and Arabs. So then I saw this. Nigerian doctor who helped Pfizer develop COVID-19 vax. So how did we miss this? He was responsible. Because y'all remember when I was reading that thing and I had got on the malaria, and I was like, malaria? It looked like, wow, how are they moving malaria around? And I was tripped up on that part. Like, how are they moving these things around, right? And I said, this is almost like a bioweapon or something. I think I might have been right. Through his work, he played a big part in getting one of the first COVID-19 vaccines to the public, helping millions around the world face the pandemic with new hope. And this is just his yeah, listen. So, let me keep going. Cuz I didn't know this. This vaccine killed more Black Americans than any other demographic on the planet. Than any other. Then I decided to go over to the African Union page. The African Union, right, has this thing, 2025 year of reparations. I'm going to click on it. Now, mind you, keep in mind, we counted about 70, 80 billion the other night. 2025 year reparations. Let's read this. This is Africa. AU theme of the year 2025, theme justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. The African Union has designated 2025 as a year of justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. This initiative underscores the AU's commitment to addressing historic injustices, including the transatlantic slave trade, colonialism, apartheid, and genocide. It builds on decades of advocacy, collaboration, aiming to foster unity and establish mechanisms of reparatory justice on a global scale. And I'm like, wow, they didn't go through what? Wait a minute, because how? What you didn't? That's not you. That's not your story. Right? Y'all said that was the Negroes in America who was on the boats. Right? But then guys, then I just kept meddling through this website. And I saw so much, including the fact that Africa, unbeknownst to us, please share this live, guys. And look what comes up. Africa made us their 6th region. Did you know that? Africa made the Negroes in America, the darkies, the Black people, the Black Americans, their 6th region. They made us a state within their diaspora. So they have a state outside of Africa, and it includes us. Who the fuck told them to do that? I have no clue. Why I'm just not finding this out? I don't know. Why all these African diaspora channels ain't never pointed this out? I have no clue. Please click like in here. Please share the video, because this is wild. They were able to bring us inside of their group. Because mind you, this African Union has been around since 1963. And they have never been able to get this amount of money in this period of time, right? And their whole thing was African Union. Let's go back. They're trying to change how the world sees them, right? And so then some smart nigga over in Africa said, this is how we can change it. Let's bring the Black Americans in and make them our sixth region. I was looking for let me go to their, which page is this about? Is who we are. African states. If they have 55 states, then we're the 56th or something crazy like that. No, I'm looking for the part. It's a part on here where they're explaining how they don't want the world to view them as people who are not capable of doing business, people who are not capable of trade, people who don't have enough money going into their bank accounts. They explain all of this on their site, right? And then you go into the part of the site where they made us the sixth region. One people, one voice, one Africa, diaspora of African descent in America. People of African descent in America. And this is how they have, look at this. Our mission is to galvanize, mobilize, structure, and empower the people of African descent in America, as well as reconnecting them to the motherland. One voice, one people, one Africa. The African Union has invited the African diaspora to bring voting members of the AU to that together African people who can move together towards unification of the African continent into a reality called the Union of African States, or United States of Africa, in the near future. But this is supposed to be us, right? They took our whole identity, is what I'm telling y'all. They took our whole identity, using it for their benefit. Look at this shit, man. Look at this. Look at this. Who told them to do this? Who gave them permission to do this? Who the fuck gave them permission to do this? What? Yeah, this is wild. This is crazy. This is so crazy, bro. I swear. This shit, I said, let me go live. I wasn't even gonna go live today. I said, let me get somebody else eyes on this. This was not on my bingo card. This was not on my bingo card. These fucking orange-eyed put us in it. Use us for marketing. And then start brokering deals all over the place. We don't even know we involved in this shit at all. We don't even know. Like, we're involved in their whole role. Like, this website, how they're explaining how they want to be the leaders in culture and all of that. And then they're sitting here. Let me show y'all. They're sitting here literally. Where is it? I may have to just enlarge my screen or something. My blood. Who are we? Boy, this is crazy. Now, this is what I said. They keep using this word, foundational. The African Unity 6th Region USA Foundation is the official African diaspora Initiative Network. Established to mobilize, galvanize, organize, structure, and unite the African diaspora in collaboration with the African Unity 6th Region, Canada to the Motherland. The African Unity 6th Region, USA, is a network of people of African descent living and their organizations, both including nonprofits and for-profits. Wait. I must have skipped something. Individuals, yeah, I didn't skip nothing. Damn, no. That's just how they wrote it. This AU6RUSA network is expected to be engaged through strategic partnerships and work to elect representatives for the USA in the African Union ECOSOCC Assembly, in line with the African Union Constitutive Act Article 3Q. Yeah, y'all, these niggas got a constitution for us and everything. I clicked on that shit and clicked off the sofa. I'm scared at this point. I'm scared. Who told them to do that? Who the fuck told y'all to do this? Participates in essential component in the building of the African Union Constitutive Act Article 3Q, which invites the African diaspora to participate as an essential component in the building of the African continent and to build sustainable partnerships between the African continent and the African diaspora through sustainable dialogue and effective collaboration with governments for the rejuvenation of the global African family and the instrument of wider renaissance, and ultimately to enable the African diaspora to increase their participation as observers in the affairs of African Union as the 6th region of the continent. We're the 6th region of the African continent? Y'all done lost y'all motherfucking mind. How are we just not seeing this? Please share the live. Please click like. Please share the live. This, because I can't be the only one looking into this. I got piles of stuff to do. There is no way, and I don't even consider myself no African diaspora. It's no way all these African diaspora people did not know about this shit. Ain't no way they ain't know. It ain't no way. ADOS, DOS, all that bullshit. You niggas knew about this shit. They knew. Everybody knew. People getting paid. $80 billion. We need to know who it went to. $80 billion. When we're sitting here screaming, hollering, yelling, asking for reparations. And they done slid us into their continent. And then use our history. Use our history, guys, everything. Look. Use our history and everything. This is crazy. Crazy. It's even a page on here. I mean, the website full of stuff, just full of all these plans, these big ass plans they have, guys. Who knew they was African? Who knew? Who knew this? Look, when I click on history, you see, I'm clicking on history. What the fuck is this doing on the African Union website? How is this? How? What the? How? Why didn't nobody say nothing about this? At last I checked, James Brown was from Georgia. Yeah, this we know we done been all the way overtaken. They're able to use this to upgrade their culture, upgrade their inventions, upgrade their numbers. Because of our 1.5 trillion spending power, that's on here too. They done put our numbers, our spending power, literally, guys. Our spending power is more, damn near more than the whole continent. So they was able to group us into them, add our spending power into theirs, add our inventions into theirs, add our history into theirs, and then broker deals that way. Not only that, they were able to come over here to our government using this logic and broker deals behind our back. That's how, when we was reading that bill the other day and going through the money, no money came to America, but 1,200 jobs was released inside of 3 states here in America. And $80 billion went to building airplanes in Africa, women-owned business in Africa, men-owned businesses in Africa. All these different countries got all this different stuff. And it's like, well, damn, why did y'all start this whole bill off? Why did y'all start this whole thing off using us? You could have just used yourself. Or couldn't you? Because you've been around since 1963 and you ain't been able to get nothing yet. But then when we get added, now everybody's getting big money and 2 permanent seats at the UN. Yeah, why people ain't talking about this? All this TikTok mouth and all this stuff going on. Look, names and labels. As Americans of African descent reach each new plateau in their struggle for equality, they reevaluated their identity. The slaveholder labels of Black and Negro, Spanish for Black, were offensive, so they chose the euphemism colored. That's not how we spell colored. When they were freed, capitalized Negro became acceptable during the migration to the North for factory jobs. Afro-American was adapted by civil rights activists to underline pride in their ancestral homeland. Wow. But Black, the symbol of power and revolution, proved more popular. All these terms are still reflected in the names of dozens of organizations to reestablish cultural identity in the late 1980s. Jesse Jackson proposed African American, which, unlike other baseless color labels, proclaims kinship with the historic land base. They're saying their land base is historic. In the 21st century, the terms Black and African American both were widely used. Nigga. Now, let me preference this, guys. My name is Janice. I don't give a damn if we call ourselves Blue Corn Moon. I'm not hung up on that part. I just want this African shit off our names, off the record. Right? So when I read this next part, all you people, do not get in your feelings. Reevaluate. I'm telling you, because we don't know how deep this rabbit hole go. And I'm wondering why nobody pointed this out. We're not even on the Diaspora side on this channel. We're on the American history side, Aboriginal, Indian, heirs property, land patents. That's what side we're on. So I'm going to read this. Don't get in your feelings. I didn't make this site. This is the Africans. The African Union, who run a lot of YouTubers' checks. Let me see. Make sure y'all can see this. Let me scroll up. I may have to shrink the screen so y'all can see it. Can y'all see where it says the early history of blacks in America? Let me shrink the screen so y'all can see it. In fact, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna remove myself. Let me see, can I remove myself? Hold on, hold my mute. Hold my mute. Not that. I'm gonna read y'all that later. I'm trying to show y'all this. Okay. The early history of blacks in the Americas. Please share the live. Get more people in here. This is very important. Okay. Africans assisted the Spanish and Portuguese during early exploration of the Americas. In the 16th century, some black explorers settled in the Mississippi Valley and in areas that became South Carolina and New Mexico. That's a whole motherfucking lie. But it's a group of people running with it. The most celebrated black explorer of the Americas was Esteban, who traveled through the Southwest in the 1530s. Now, I could be totally wrong, but I know I'm not. The story that FBA is using derived from this. That's why that flag said 1500s. Now, we proved that this story was fake. I did a whole show on this, showing that there was only one survivor of this 1619 debacle. And of that one survivor, he didn't have millions of people. We was already at war. Dark-skinned people was already at war over here in America. We was already fighting. There ain't no way one African had millions and millions of people in the same decade. It's impossible. Not only that, everybody who touched that Mississippi River, this region, because I've only heard YouTubers talk about this Esteban shit, Estebanico shit, because he was a Moor, and the Moors used to always talk about this. This Mississippi region was Chickasaw territory. Them Chickasaws was not fucking around with nobody over there. They was killing everything over there. He died over here. He was murdered. He didn't come over here and chill. That's why I never believed this story. So when they started using the 1500s, I'm like, no, we go back further than the 1500s. So I don't even understand why a group of people stopped at the 1500s. Because hell, I got family Bibles on my computer right here with families going back to the 1400s, all the way back. So, and again, he was murdered. All of them. So they weren't over here chilling, having babies with Indian women, with Aboriginal indigenous women. They was not. They weren't. So I couldn't understand for the life of me why people kept spreading this around. I didn't understand. And I was not the only one who didn't understand. I didn't make no big fuss about not understanding. I just did not understand. I didn't understand. I didn't make no big fuss. I said, people want to call themselves whatever. Cool with me. I don't care. As long as we get our reparations, it don't matter to me. I don't care what y'all can call us bald eagle. It don't matter. Get this African shit, this African story away from me. Because my people didn't tell me nothing about that. That was my take on it. And whoever has been on this channel for a while, y'all probably remember us back in 2020, had to be. We was like, we got to call ourselves something. Because this African thing is not working. I don't even know how this African thing, we knew how it got on there, but we didn't know why it was sticking. What we did not know was Africa created a whole region. Now, because they're the ones brokering deals with America on our behalf, why would America broker deals directly with us? Because they think we're all together. And when we ask for reparations for the land theft, redlining, lynchings, that don't matter, because they just gave these people $80 billion. Y'all figured out. We just gave them $80 billion. They told us about, transatlantic slave trade, how y'all needed reparations for that, and Jim Crow. They got all that on the African Union's website. Nobody get mad. I'm just reading it. They got all this stuff on the website. I didn't even go through all those little tabs on the website. I'm just shocked that nobody pointed it out. And not only that, guys, not only that, they knew that there was a possibility that this bag would be cut off, which Trump did. Trump ended that executive order right when he got in office. They already knew he was going to end it, right? So at the end of last year, they got a big chunk of money, another big chunk of money. And they were having meetings about what they're going to implement next. I done found three bills already that they're trying to push through the legislation right now. Has nothing to do with us. Right? So they're just taking money, using our story. Literally, guys. Nobody was going to tell us. Let me tell y'all something. This is not on my bingo card. I done went through enough on YouTube. Those of you who have been here for a long time with me, you guys know what I went through on YouTube just trying to tell our history. Y'all know. We was here, guys. We was here, right here on YouTube. A lot of us was on our old channel. We was here when all these names were created, when they created the, and it talks about Cobra on this African Union website. African Union works with Cobra. So the African Union got Cobra people over here already in place. They already got politicians, all that in place, feeding their pockets through the money that they use our story to get. We were here when ADOS stood for African Descendants of Slaves. And it made no sense. It made no sense. At that point, I was teaching history, just casually talking about history on Facebook. My YouTube page, my Unpacked YouTube page, I was unpacking these tech inventions that spy on you. I was unpacking how churches steal money, and I was going through their church tax records and how they're stealing the money and not doing, and having a zero balance at the end and having a 20 million. I was unpacking all kind of stuff on YouTube, on my Unpacked YouTube channel. On Facebook, if you knew me on Facebook, I was reading old history books on Facebook, just old shit, just old books, right? This is probably 2019. The ADOS, all that was out. But it was African Descendants of Slaves. And then people were like, well, why is it African Descendant of Slaves? I asked the same thing. However, I'm not, they don't really know me like that, I guess, They are clicked up. So I was like, well, they're telling the history wrong and they're trying to get reparations for African descendants of slaves. It's going to be a whole lot of people that get reparations because you don't know who's white, who's black, came from Africa. At that point, it was some white people at the top of Africa. And then if you talk about slavery, it's a lot of white slaves in America during the Civil War. So then I dropped Who Stole the Cookies. Please share the live, guys. I'm just running down the timeline real quick for new people because a lot of people be watching it on the playback. Then I dropped Who Stole the Cookies in 2019, back to back, and I ran the history down because at this point I'm like, they're asking for reparations, but they got the history part wrong. You're not going to get reparations how they're asking for it. So I said, well, let me drop some history content on YouTube. I dropped Who Stole the Cookies, part 1 on YouTube, it exploded. Then I dropped part 2 on YouTube and start getting death threats. I said, this is strange. This is very strange. Then something happened on Facebook. No, a lot of people on YouTube came and found me teaching history on Facebook, and they said, you need to bring this crowd to YouTube. So I started teaching history on YouTube. Every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, chat packed. And I'm going through this old history and just unpacking it surgically, right? Never told y'all came over here on the boat, but I have unpacked boats before. I never pushed y'all off the land because I didn't think the story added up. It didn't add up to me. And I already knew what my grandmama told me. And I'm dark skinned. So I know what people in the South teach. I know about heirs property. I know about why people would do, evil stuff to us. And I knew that it was land-based. So I was sitting here unpacking it for anybody who would listen, for anybody who would share. At this time, it's another argument going on about changing this stuff from African descendant of slaves to American descendant of slaves. But at that time, a whole group of people had already branched off and just changed to DOS. So now we had a DOS and a DOS. Well, now they had an ADOS and a DOS. Then they got to fighting. But see, we was already calling ourselves a Allodial nation. Please remember this, guys. Because Allodial just meant land. So we was just in our own little world over here, just talking about land and really unpacking how we're tied to the land. And then a big history YouTuber went at me. I ain't gonna say his name. Clickbait. Went at me, right? Y'all remember this. He and I had a big blowout on YouTube. Huge blowout. Saying we don't have land, black people don't have land. Land patents fake, all of that. Then FBA was created. But FBA was created using this 1500 number. And this Estembanico, the Moore story. So I didn't understand why they were doing that, but I said, cool. I mean, that's what they want to do. I'm not going to tell nobody what to do as long as y'all not saying African. I'm all right, but I know y'all still saying African just by saying Estembanico because he was not American. He was an African. So it's still saying African in a roundabout way. But at least you're not calling yourselves African. That's why I didn't call myself that. But if somebody called me that, I ain't going to argue with you. It is what it is. You can call me that. You know I'm from here, from the land. But now going on the African Union website and seeing the African Union, I am this weekend years old. Somebody copying off of somebody. I don't know whether the African Union know these people. Or these people know them. Or they used to be together and fell out. But I know for sure it got Cobra on their website. So the ADOS probably going to check out. I don't know whether this other group going to check out. The other leaders. It's strange though to me. And whoever is doing this, I'm telling you, this some shit, this some evil shit. This evil. It's evil. Because it led to African Union taking our whole entire demographic over to Africa. So now when it comes to targeting, these people sit at the UN table, right? They got these maps of each state. And they can say anything. Well, let's just do the trials, the Pfizer trials in our 6th region. Can they not? Let's just do the Pfizer testing in our 6th region. And now you got people bringing needles to America. Now you got people developing bioweapons using American genetics. This is not cool. And you know, I'm tell y'all this. You have to go back to whatever your family told you was, because this has to be fought. This has to be fought. This has to be fought. They got to remove us from this bullshit. We didn't ask to be a part of it. I don't know whether one of these YouTube leaders asked to be a part of it. It also talks about an African Diaspora network on this goddamn website. And I know it's a heap of them African Diaspora channels. I'm starting to think all of them are up under this website. And it wasn't on my bingo card. But what we're not going to do is sit here and waste my time and others pulling out all these old documents, trying to make claims for reparation, trying to help people find their land in case these people want to act funny. Let's see if people want to pull a World War III. And then y'all sit back and chill because y'all already got y'all payout. Y'all already sold the people down the road. Y'all are just going with the semantics at this point. Y'all are just moving the goalposts as you see fit. We can't do that shit, man. We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do it. We don't do it. Y'all can't fucking do it. Let me just say that. We don't do that. We have not moved the goalpost. And it's funny that, reading all those dollar amounts that we read the other day, I know a lot of people saw that video. I know way more people saw it than the numbers that's on the video. I know way more people saw that video, baby. I could tell by the amount of messages that a whole lot of people saw that video. Because YouTube got a thing where my messages, my comments will just disappear out the comment section. People be typing. I see it pop up on my phone. And then when I go to it, that shit is gone. They have a funny way of messing with my channel. It's a funny thing, but I have been disturbed. After I got off live the other night reading all of those numbers, when I say I couldn't sleep, I was just trying to figure out, like, how did this happen? Like, how did they get all this money and we've been sitting here like nobody helped us? Nobody helped during COVID. Nobody helped us during COVID. Nobody helped us afterwards. Nobody said, I'm sorry that you guys were the largest demographic that was killed. We're sorry that you guys are going through cancer problems currently from being inoculated. Nobody said we're sorry, because now it looked like everybody colluding together. And if everybody is colluding together for real, then the people who need to come in the conversation now are Black military vets. That's it. Black military vets need to be added to this conversation at this point, because if everybody was together and they're saying something about World War III, then that means this is on us. That means World War III is on us. That's the only thing I can think of, because they already got the bag. They're doing these covert missions, this covert stuff. We had better stop being passive about this stuff and really look into it. Because if these people just came and offed us like that during COVID with that thing, with that shot. And then they're still talking about World War III. Then it'll match. It'll match all of the wars because there was a flu before the Civil War. There was a flu before the World Wars. There was a flu. It was called COVID. And they're trying to brew a war with Russia right now. Trump and Russia trying to act like they want to fight. Like they want to nuke each other. But what it won't be nukes, but it will be something more detrimental. It'll be something. I don't know what it'll be. The black vets whoever is a veteran. This y'all side. All I've done was read and study about the wars. I've never been in a war, other than this covert stuff. And it looked like it's pointed at us. I'm telling you, our identity has been totally stolen. And like, I wouldn't come on here if I didn't think something was strange, if I didn't feel something in my spidey senses. The other day when I was online, I said, this is not in my bingo card. And I said, this feels like, to me, this gives me the same feeling that I got during COVID when I went off during COVID. I said that on my live. That was before I saw this Pfizer stuff. The vice chair for Pfizer on the committee. What? Like, I'm speechless. I'm look at what Putin and Trump is trying to do. They're trying to start a war. They're trying to start a war. They're trying to fake beef and they're trying to start a war. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to fake beef and start a war. And those of us who have a little bit melanin in our skin, we do not see these attacks happening until they're up on us. That's how so many people was tricked into taking the vax. We don't understand these covert wars. We don't understand full-scale war. We don't understand this stuff. We're not warlike people. We ain't been on the battlefield. So the people who've been on the battlefield, y'all are going to have to start breaking this stuff down. Putting y'all ear to the street. We got to get this African shit off our name. Because we could have possibly been sold up the river for something. They could have possibly got their payout for selling us up the river. Everybody could have been involved. And we just be in our own world, minding our own business. But historically, people just do not like us. You know? I don't think that there is a group of Black Americans who would have went into Africa. I don't think there's a group of Black Americans who would have used Africans' history to get money. Then I saw this too, y'all. And it, you know, when you go on the African Union website, they talk about their culture, how rich it is. And you can just see how they have been implementing stuff here in America. Let me see, can I get back to it? You can see exactly how they have been implementing stuff here in America. Because, look, even the Juneteenth flag, look, this is the African Union. What, y'all don't have nothing to do with Juneteenth. Like, this has nothing to do with you guys. But look, they're the ones who changed the Juneteenth flag to this flag. And it might seem minor to y'all. It may seem minor to y'all, but this is how people take over your culture. This is how people disrespect your ancestors and you. This is just how they took it over. We was wondering, like, how were they able to change the whole flag? The Juneteenth flag is red, white, and blue. Then it started being all this Pan-African stuff. But this is what they do. This is their plan. This is their plan. This is their plan to grift our culture into theirs and pretend as if we're all one fucking race. They don't do this with the Australians. They do not do this with dark-skinned Australians. They leave them people to fuck alone. They don't even do this with dark-skinned Asians. They don't do this with dark-skinned South Americans. But they do all this stuff Africans Union 6th Region Global Leadership Meeting with Vice President of Ghana. Who the fuck in there American? Who? This is what I'm saying. This is exactly how it happens. This is exactly what happens. This is exactly how it happens. Brokering all kind of deals. Our mission is to support the growth of success of businesses in Africa and the diaspora by providing them with tools, resources, and opportunities needed to thrive. We are dedicated to fostering innovation, entrepreneurship, and investment in the region with a focus on promoting inclusive and sustainable economic development. You're not doing this shit. You're not doing this with Black American businesses. Stop. They're cherry picking the Africans that are over here in America, divvying out their 80 billion plus, but using our history to get it done. This evil. This is evil. This is evil. African Union 6th Region Global promotes trade. Where are the Black people in this bitch? If y'all say we're the 6th region, I don't see no niggas in here. I don't see no Negroes, collards, darkies from America with American grandparents. All I see is umfufu. All I see is umfufus. Big forehead. You know that ain't us. And this is what pissed me off right here. This is what pisses me off. This is what pisses me off. Our civil society division focused on grassroots mobilization. This is what pissed me off right here. Look at them having a meeting about the 6th region. How many of us do you see at this table? This is crazy. Intergovernmental organization sitting there having meetings about how to come take what belongs to us, as if you're giving it to us, as if we're not educated enough to speak for ourselves, using our history. As an intergovernmental organization, we offer a platform for diplomatic dialogue and policy development, fostering meaningful engagement and proactive solution that is paramount to our diaspora community and the continent. Exactly. We don't fuck with y'all like that. If we come over there, it's for a vacation, and only a few of us come over there for that. So I guess they in the 6th region too. Like, this is weird. This weirdo behavior. Like, it's a whole, they got a whole constitution. Like a whole, like, y'all, somebody better get these from, ooh. Oh my goodness. Like, this is crazy. Raise your hand if you knew you were African. I mean a full African. Raise your hand if you knew you was a full African. Child, they don't be bothering the dark-skinned people in Australia. No, nobody say nothing to the dark-skinned people of Australia. Why? I wonder why. Nobody say nothing to them. Don't nobody say nothing to the darkies in Asia. On these little bitty islands. Don't nobody say nothing to the darkies in Madagascar. Because I guess because they're part of Africa or whatever. But they out in the water by themselves. Don't nobody say nothing to them. No, nothing to nobody. It's only the darkies over here in America that's supposed to be from there. America is the only place on earth that's not supposed to have any dark-skinned Aboriginal people. That's weird as hell to me. It's weird as hell how an entire continent can rope you off, use the people who have been popular. They got our artists. I'm telling you, they're using our artists. They're using civil rights activists. They're using inventors, Black American inventors, because you don't have no Africans to put up there like that. That's evil. That's evil. That's evil. That's evil as hell. That is evil. That's a different level. That's scamming. See, I don't fucking want to be connected to no scammers. And they've been scammers. They just made all of us scammers. By y'all grifting us. And this is just how much we don't pay attention because we just don't see them like that. We don't look at them like that. But they have grifted us into their category. Now y'all got the whole fucking every dark race looking like scammers. But y'all the ones that are sitting at the UN table use our history to do it. And when it comes down to a global war, we're the ones that's going to get thrown under the bus for the war. I bet you. Just like I had no clue up until this weekend, today, that Pfizer used that Nigerian to create that bioweapon. A surefire bioweapon. A full-scale bioweapon, guys. That goddamn shot was a full-scale bioweapon. And they're calling it one. They're calling it one. I don't know why. Why? I have no clue why people keep messing with us. I don't know. I don't know. But there are so many. So many old books. Let me show you. In fact, let me. What's this? This. Distinctive characteristics of the Aboriginal race of America. 1844. Now let's go down a little bit. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe I can't read. Maybe I don't know my colors. This is the physical characteristics. It is an adage among travelers that he who has seen one tribe of Indians has seen all. So much of the individuals of this race resemble each other, notwithstanding their immune geographical distributions in those different of climates which embrace the extreme of heat and cold. right? But here's when you go down. All possess alike long, lank, that's curly, black hair, the brown or cinnamon colored skin. And full lips. And maybe I don't know my colors, guys. Maybe I don't know my colors. Maybe it's me, oh Lord, who don't know their colors. You know how many y'all have no clue how many old books I got with them describing me. But then people say, "No, y'all, you African." Well, who was the brown cinnamon person with the big lips then? It's showing you. And they said it was all of them looked alike. I got another book that described us. It said, yeah, all of them looked alike. It was the Cherokees. They was light skinned. They call them red boned. Same shit we call our light skins today, red boned. So some of the Cherokees was red boned. Exactly. But everybody else was dark. And they said the dark shades range all the way down to black. Cinnamon brown all the way down to black. But somehow, because we're dark skinned and the Africans are dark skinned, we're African. How the fuck ignorant is that? But again, the Australians right there next door to Africa. They all down yonder, below the equator. No nobody bother them people. Why is that? Is it because of the Australian economy? Is it because Australia isn't a global superpower? Is it because is that why? Why don't nobody bother Australia? Is that because ain't nobody running to Australia as a refugee? And they running over here to refugees, so let's grift. How you grift a whole demographic of people? Put all this money behind telling the people a lie. But mind you, America in their files, the amount of shit from our ancestors that America has, they got all our stuff, all our remedies, and you'll be reading remedies that your family still do today. You'll be and all Indian remedies that your family still do today. The Riley Sanford book, 1858. This book published. He was an Indian doctor. And they published it. Long time ago. The authors are confident that from their long experience among almost every tribe of Indians in the United States, together with an experience of more than 40 years of constant practice, almost every state in the Union. All these remedies, y'all. Like we got the literature. There, like, it's just no way people are still sitting here as if we aren't who we say we are. I don't want to play semantics with these people no more. I had no clue they did that. I am not here to play with these fucking people. I need somebody else to do it. Because it'll get a little bit wicked with me. I don't want to do that. But this is evil. Men need to handle these niggas because these are men that's doing it. These are the men in Africa that's doing this. How did they sit at this round, a square table, and put all this together? How long it's been together? I don't know. What I do know is what my family taught, what y'all family taught, and that book came out of the Surgeon General's archives. I didn't get that book off no random ass website. I got that book out of the Surgeon General's archives, along with others, along with almost every other Indian book you can think of. Don't ask me about how I got it. In the Surgeon General archives. It didn't include any hacking, I'll tell you that much. I didn't have to do no hacking. But if it's an old website and they got an archive there, I'm going through it. Because I don't know how people are getting it twisted. Maybe y'all explain it to me. Maybe y'all have to explain it to me, because see, me, I've never been inside of a war before. Never. I've never been inside of a war before. All I have done is read it. I've read it. So this, what I feels like we're inside of a war. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're inside of a war. They're always talking about climate change. They always talk about nuclear. Always talking about climate. But then, guys, but then. See, the reason why it's important that some of us study war is because we'll be able to pick up some of the coded stuff that they talk about. And this is a book that I want to come on here and read one night. Observations of the climate in different parts of America. Remarks on the different complexions of the human race, with some accounts of the Aborigines of America. An introductory discourse to the history of North Carolina. It gets very interesting. And this is 1811. I don't know how anybody ever got it twisted. I don't know how anybody ever got this twisted about who's who. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. But I tell you what, guys, if I hadn't read so much material and I thought that the people over here was just white, I would have never came online, y'all. I had too much to lose. I lost my whole career behind this. I had too much to lose to do this. If I would have read in all these books that the people over here was very fair-skinned, I wouldn't have been able to see myself in it. I wouldn't have been able to believe what my family was saying. I wouldn't have been able to believe it. I wouldn't have been able to believe this family Bible. I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to believe all the families that I've helped. I wouldn't have been able to. But I have cross-referenced so much material. I put so much material in these American history books. I'm very well studied on this subject matter. I wouldn't have came on here bullshitting y'all like that. I wouldn't have. I had a great life, great soft life. I didn't have to yell. And now it's This is beyond us yelling. They have already taken, like they took it right from up under us, like took it, then pretended as if we can't read. We don't know how to source data. I don't know what they thought. Maybe they thought they had hid all the books. Because I did have a laptop that was wiped out that had even more stuff on it. They did wipe the Freedmen's Bureau out slowly and surely, because the Freedmen's Bureau of old is not the files that's online today. Those old Freedmen's Bureau files told a whole different story from the 1619 stuff. It had everything in there. It had land patents. That's the second website I saw land patents on outside of Glow Records. I saw them on the Freedmen's Bureau files. And when the Freedmen's Bureau files started being messed with back in, and it had to be 2019. I made a whole video on TikTok about it. I said, y'all, because I was going like nuts. I was like, well, where are the Freedmen's Bureau files? Like they been wiped out like right in front of my eyes. It was not only the land patents, the heirs property records were attached, the airship payments were attached, the land coordinates was attached, the bank accounts was attached, the court records was attached. All that stuff was attached in one file. You had census records, all that stuff in the Freedmen's Bureau files. And I saw them. Whenever I made that video on TikTok, I saw them leaving right in front of my eyes. And now all we have is a very small data set of these Freedmen Bureau files left. These files went all the way back into the 1700s. And so if they tell you a story that you had just came here in the 1600s, it really would not make sense. Because when you get into some of those families, that land, well, the land been here. How did we get land if we just been slaves this whole time? The stories did not make sense. They was not calling them people slaves. They just weren't. Until the Civil War. And then that's when that shit, every time you have a war, people become slaves. Prisoners of war. They put the whole population in slavery during the Civil War. I'm telling you, the Freedmen's files gone. But Freedmen legislation is still up on Congress.gov, where the Freedmen's Bureau was asking for a military to protect them. Like, the reason why we have to keep, I'm just a little bit emotional about this whole thing. I didn't know I was African. I was today's years old. This weekend's years old. Okay? I did not know. Sorry for being emotional. But this is not right. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. This is not right. This is not right. It's not. I feel like, and again, guys, you know, this all came about because of the Essence Fest. It did. I would have never been digging into the African Union had the Essence Fest, had I not been digging into the Essence Fest. I wouldn't have. Now, I already had the petition up, but the petition wasn't as a result of the Essence Fest. That was something different. That was because I just know we need to take this African shit off our name. I didn't know the urgency of it, though. I didn't know that they had already swiped us into Africa. I probably would have went and just packed my cup and went straight to the White House. You know, that's how they kill you, though. Because I ain't even gonna lie. I have seen a lot of, they're different Indians. There are different indigenous people who have went up to the White House and broker deals. This is in the records. And they just did not come back home. Just did not. I wrote about some of them in volume 1. They just did not come back home. They just didn't. Mysteriously. So, I don't even think this is nothing that a regular girl can handle. I think military people need to look into this. Because I don't know no other culture that's being done this way. I don't know no other culture. You cannot tell a white person from Western Europe that they're from nowhere fucking else. You can't put them nowhere else on the planet without hell to pay. You cannot tell the Jewish people that they ain't from wherever they claim they to be from, the Holy Land. You can't tell them that they from fucking Africa. You wouldn't do that. You ain't telling them they from Australia. You're not telling them they from South America. You're not telling them they're from the Caribbean or none of that shit. Because you know there's a price to pay. But you can come tell us where we're from, who we are. And get money. It's a name for that. I can't think of it. It's a deculturalization. When somebody just swipe your whole culture and take it from you. And then it's like, you know, the reason why. And then the fact that they pointed out that we keep changing our name. Who asked the African Union to point that out? The reason why we keep changing our name is because we keep adding adjectives instead of just being American. If they would have just changed it to American like they should have after the Civil War, then we wouldn't be in this predicament. We would just be Americans. But that's why we have to keep changing it. Because we're Americans, but everybody wanted to add a description to us. Like American, but how American? Like American, but what color American? Like American, but from where though? From like African American? Like what? Like you black, but how black? Is you Caribbean black? Like what? Foundational black? Blickety black? We just can't be American? No, we are the Americans. We got the oldest history over here. We fought in every war over here. Just not, everybody else need to fall in line or get another category at this point. Not everybody collude together to push us off the land. We just started getting the land back. And that could be part of collusion too. I want to show y'all something. Something that I saw. Where is it? It's a video that dropped last night. Eric Weinstein. He said something very...
Hi, I'm Madeline.
See. He said something very interesting. Let me see. Where was it? He started explaining. Let me share this. It's Eric Weinstein. Sounding alarm on AI threats, corrupt science, drone warfare, nuclear war, deep state secrets like Epstein, blah, blah, blah.
I think when I look at both sides of the coin and I look at the opportunity and the threat, my concern when I hear about the CEOs of the biggest AI companies in the world talking about this fast takeoff is that the transition will be too quick for us to adjust. And when they say fast takeoff, they mean that AGI like arrives and the rate of its learning accelerates so quickly that it really disrupts the need for human beings to do a lot of the sort of jobs we're doing
Listen
today
to this.
centered on
Listen to
intelligence.
this.
Which jobs require intelligence?
Pretty much all of them these days, because we've had the Industrial Revolution where we've outsourced a lot of labor to machines, but...
I don't think so.
Really?
I think a large portion of our conversation was actually an LLM. We didn't actually get to the stuff outside of the LLM. You and I are two chat bots for the most part. You're a good one.
Thank you.
I'm on a huge platform again, you know? But my claim is that that's the really disturbing part, that more or less we're LLMs, more or less we don't do a single intelligent thing all day long. And the reason that they're able to mimic us is because we don't realize that intelligence is a last resort for us.
He's about to start talking about proteins, and I want you to pay close attention to this, because this is the exact thing that happened with the Spikevax protein that they put into that shot that they start putting in people's bodies. This is nuclear warfare, whether we want to admit it or not, whether we want to keep dancing around the subject matter or not. But he's one of the high-ranking people. He up there. I don't know whether he's CIA or whatever, but he up there with all them. And they're just casually talking.
We try to automate. Like, you know, if you think about greetings, your assistant was very kind. I got out of a black car that you guys sent around, and I was greeted with the phrase, "There he is, the man, the myth," and I knew what was coming next, the legend, right? Because that is a sort of humorous way.
Wait, let me make sure I'm in the right spot.
Where I don't have something.
It's supposed to be 33.
You know, red
30.
proteins.
Very little.
Oh, I went past it. Hold on.
But great games, protein folding. Now that's a game.
Here you go. Whoa. You're going to talk about proteins, protein folding. Hold on one second. Hold my mute. Let me scrub it to here.
Do you know about
He already got it right here on the screen, right? It says Alpha Fold 3. Now, the irony of this shit being called Fold 3 is just wild to me. But the Fold 3 one was released in 2024. And it's under a Google DeepMind, right? Because they are hiding this. They are merging AI and nuclear. Well, they're not merging. It's been together. But they're kind of explaining it in a way that where the masses won't really catch on to what's going on. But you see where he say AlphaFold 3 was released in May 2024 by Google DeepMind and is the latest step in using AI to model complex biological systems. It predicts the 3D structures of proteins, DNA, RNA, and a small molecules, potential helping researchers design new drugs and understand diseases more deeply. But watch what Weinstein says. See, these are his notes. Watch what Weinstein says.
This game?
It's the chess game that became the protein folding game.
Oh,
and you want to talk about great games, protein folding. Now that's a game.
I have no knowledge of this at all.
Okay. What do you know about proteins?
Very little.
Okay, think about proteins as tiny machines.
Yeah.
That there's a copying machine, there's a scissors and a shearing machine, there's a light making machine, all sorts of things. And all of those machines are weirdly coded. Imagine that you had like a children's show and a bunch of girl superheroes, and they all had necklaces with 20 different kinds of beads around their neck. And so when they needed a machine, they'd take off the necklace, and they'd throw it into a thing called a ribosome. The ribosome would take these 20 kinds of pearls, and suddenly it would build you a car or a spaceship or a gun or who knows what. Well, that's the story of DNA, RNA, and protein. The only thing is, isn't it weird that a linear sequence suddenly crumples up into a three-dimensional object that does?
And now you have cancer.
So, for example, I don't know if you've ever seen these Turkish rabbits that glow in the dark.
No.
Okay, so they took green fluorescent protein out of jellyfish.
Yeah.
And they spliced them into the nucleic acids of rabbits. And the Turks bred all of these glow-in-the-dark bunnies. And what that is a structure. So there's something called secondary structure in protein, where sometimes you get these spirals called alpha helices, and then sometimes you get a two-dimensional sheet that's made from taking a switchback in strings of amino acids. And then if you wrap that around, you don't have a beta sheet, you have a beta barrel. And these beta barrels are the glow-in-the-dark aspect of green fluorescent protein, okay? And What we didn't know was how a series of ACTs and Gs could code for sequences of amino acids could form
ATGCs,
three-dimensional
RNA, DNA.
structures. So if you just read DNA, you didn't know, well, that's going to be a sports car.
Yeah.
Well, AlphaFold figured it out for the most part, like to an enormous extent. Humans were stuck there.
And what does that mean?
It means that you could, you could target your enemies that have particular regions on their cell surfaces, and you could come up with proteins that only attach to them and attack. It could mean anything. It could mean nanorobots. I don't know what it means, but my point is that that's already here.
It's here because during COVID, this is exactly what happened. It's our worst nightmare. Now, that might have been a little bit hard to catch on for just like people who not really into science. But if you was paying attention, yes, reminds you of CRISPR. It's CRISPR. But CRISPR was one of the first ways that they tried to do the nuclear program. Mind you, the whole nuclear program started from Henrietta Lacks. The whole thing. Nuclear program, nuclear medicine, all of it started from Henrietta Lacks cells, and they took how the cells was acting. Now they're on proteins, right? In the spike vax, when they was making these spike vax proteins to go in the shot, some of y'all might remember these 3D models that they was putting up. But how he explained it, these 3D models can do certain things, like turn into a car. Like when they retract the 3D model that they done put in a person, when it gets all the person's, copy all the person's genetic material, genetic DNA. He goes on to talk about blood, and it's crazy. At the 40-minute mark, because I was going to show y'all the 40-minute mark too, he goes on to talk about blood. It copies the person's genetic DNA, and it may kill them off, or it may, develop as a cancer. And then you take that out, and what are they doing with that genetic material once they remove it? Because there are people right now, lots of people in America right now that's dealing with these blood clots, dealing with this cancer. You can go and get it removed, but you don't ask what happens to that when they remove it. We didn't ask enough questions in our community. It's the scientists' fault. The people who know these things, the people who can break these things down, did not ask enough questions. Did not ask, what protein are you putting in this vac? What is this spike protein that you're shooting in these Black Americans' arms? These Negro colors, these indigenous Aboriginal people, what are you shooting in their arm? And why are so many of them dying? We're not pissed off enough. Because it ain't us. We ain't have to deal with it. We ain't get the shot. I ain't get the shot, but I'm still pissed off. I don't like to see so many people in the hospital dealing with cancer. Young people. Elders who were supposed to live to be 113 years old. A group of folks decided to play God. Literally decided to play God. And killed the whole group and exterminated a whole group of people. And then came out and brushed over it. Black Americans were the largest demographic that was killed during COVID. On to the next story. News at 6. What you fucking mean? On to the next story. You don't think we need some help? And now everybody's just on podcasts casually talking about what was a conspiracy in 2020. It was a conspiracy in 2020. We did not know how nuclear and AI was working. We didn't know these things, guys. We didn't know nuclear had anything to do with AI. Raise your hand if you knew that. I thought all AI was doing was coming and listening to all our conversations and smarting itself up, But they clone Tyrone did tell us a little bit about these drone humans that they have that just sitting there waiting on the information to be input, and then whatever happens with that become a human. But it's like, well, that's sci-fi, maybe. That's just a movie though, right? Because it's weird. Because why would a group of people want to do this? That documentary dropped last night, and I was up. It dropped about 3 a.m. I sat there and watched the whole thing. I didn't go to sleep about 6 o'clock this morning. I went to sleep at 6 o'clock, and I was back up at 9. I've got hardly no sleep. I'm restless, and it feels like it was a test dummy operation during COVID. And all those big clumps of material that's being removed from people's body is being put to use. I guys, again, I didn't want to be on here long. I just want to bring this to y'all attention. The Africans and took our whole identity, and they got a lot of money. Nigerian doctor was the one who created the Pfizer vax, and that didn't get no promotion. So I would like for someone to please assist with this research. Click like in here, guys. Everybody need to see this one. Because this look like this investigation is just getting deeper and deeper. It's just getting deeper and deeper and weirder. Because you would think, as much as Africans promote themselves, that you would promote the one that created the Pfizer vaccine, right? He was the one in his profile. It says he was the one that got it approved for the president to do the mass rollout. The quick rollout that they did. I don't know, was that Operation Warp Speed? The Warp Speed rollout? That was him. It's crazy. Was he working with the Wuhan lab? Because I thought Pfizer was Wuhan's vax, and Moderna was a Department of Defense vax, and the other vax came from Johnson & Johnson. Because the virus was created in the Wuhan lab, but the vax was as well. So who why has no Negro lawmaker said, you know what? Because all of the Black Americans who died, we need restitution for this. We need restitution for these families. That wouldn't have happened to no other demographic of people without an uproar. It's like, who's all paid out and who's not? How many lawmakers are paid out and who's do people genealogy need to be done at this point to see who's the fuck who over here? Because there's no way. I'm a lawmaker. And when y'all release the stats that all these black people died, the largest demographic, but we're supposed to be the smallest demographic over here? Minority? Majority minority? So you say? Yeah, the vax was an RNA vax. That spike protein vax was an RNA vax. And they shot it into people. And we was shadow banned on our platform, guys, because we was trying to sound the alarm as loud as we could. But y'all remember how that happened. We were absolutely, nobody could get me out the shadows. No matter how people shared it, everybody who shared it was in the shadows. It was the wildest stuff. Like, they would take my videos down mid-sentence, or take my videos down time I get off the live. Like, and ban me for a week or ban me for 2 weeks. That Bees algorithm video that I did, it kind of talked about nuclear. But it talked about radio frequencies and the vaccine, and I was down through that rabbit hole when I did the research on Bees algorithm. That shit got my whole computer wiped out. And I didn't know what I did wrong, because no one told me that I couldn't do research and then come and discuss my findings. I didn't think I was harming anyone. I thought I was helping. And to hear what he's saying today, it matches what I was saying in that video. About how something on the inside of your body can communicate with something on the outside. If you can put a particular protein in a person's body, oh man. Last thing I want to show y'all, because I wasn't even want to, I want to show y'all something too. I'm going to show y'all one last thing. I was looking up, I was looking through that bill that Trump had deleted, right? That Trump had got rid of. And then I was looking in those Africans' files, and they were saying we're going to have other things that we're going to push through to try to make up for when Trump deletes this bill if he were to get in office, right? They've been trying to push these bills through. They're stagnant though. Look at this. African Diaspora Council Act. Time Trump got in office, they start submitting them, just like they said in their meeting notes. Just like they said they were going to do in their meeting notes. Time he got in office, look, African Diaspora Council Act. That's just what they said. Composed of Representative Sarah Jacobs. So we need to make sure, because that means you are connected with the African Union. That means you are definitely connected with them. But it's stagnant. See? Just introduced. Look at the text. This is her. Damn. Her name is Camlanger Dove. Camlanger Dove. For herself as Miss Jacobs. Mm. Yeah, same thing. See, council, the advisory council, that's exactly what they just got canceled. They had a council, advisory council, and then they had the business. So the council tells the president what to do, and then the business divvy out just literally to their businesses and people who they know. And it's almost the exact same definition and served in the same term. 2-year term, and then they do another 2-year term. It's almost the exact same legislation, guys. Just like, because I wouldn't have known to come look for this had I not seen it on the African Union's website, in their notes, in their meeting notes. And it's in these people's meeting notes too. It's in their meeting notes too, what they plan on doing if Trump take the whatchamacallit away. So yeah. So that one. And this one. This ain't been too long got introduced. A African Union. It had nerve to put African Union on there. Diplomatic Parity Act by Representative Olin Whiskey. And that sound good in German. Olszewski. I know it's foreign. That's what I do know. I'm just letting y'all, like, our eyes got to be open at this point. Eyes have to be open. Especially for people who have children. Y'all have to pay attention to this stuff even more. Because these people taking food literally off of your children's plate. Like, we was fighting for us in our side of the table. We was fighting for our people, us, Americans. And then they came over here, took our shit, and then started fighting for themselves. That's crazy. I just ain't never seen nothing like this. International Organization Immunities Act is amended by striking extend to the African Union mission. I'm telling you. Got to pay attention. And then this one. African Diaspora Heritage Month Act. Senator Tim Kaine, Miss Corrin, and Mr. Booker. All you niggas is African Union, and I'm just and it's crazy that we're just now finding this out. As the 2024 African diaspora in the United States was comprised of approximately 50 million people. How the girl, what? Girl, what? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what pissed me off right here. Like, just crazy. This is crazy. Just crazy. Crazy. Sold us all the way out. Sold us all the way out. Thank you so much for the super chat. I just saw that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Chief Basketball. I appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Chris E. No problem at all. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Charles said, oh, it's a super sticker. Thank you. He said, agree April move in silence. Yeah, we got to keep our eyes on, like, I'm telling you guys, we've been overtaken for sure. We've been overtaken for sure. Constantly, always getting messed around. And guys, guess what? We ain't doing this to nobody. We're not doing this to anybody. Like, when I got off the live with y'all the other night, I had to stop myself from, like, I was just walking in a circle. I just caught myself walking in a circle thinking, like, okay, how are we supposed to get out of this? Like, how do we get this money back? Like, what do we do? Like, how like I literally had to stop myself from walking in a circle, like pacing. Literally sitting there pacing. Just trying to figure it out. Like, yeah, we got the petition going, to get this African stuff off our name, but now it's in dire need. We're in dire need. Like, this is beyond a grift. Like, you're literally sitting here with our story as if your parents were over here marching, as if your grandparents were lynched, as if anybody in your family was lynched on an American tree, as if y'all got ran up off of y'all heirs' property here in America, and then somebody lied and said y'all just abandoned it and left it just because you wanted to move to the North for a job. That is not how none of this shit worked. You always had family in the South holding the land down. Always. They probably sent a few people up to the North to get a job, but them people always came back and forth. And people want to move to the North, they always know they can come back home. And it always came back to the South for family reunions. Until they got established in the North and we started having family reunions back and forth. Always came back to the South for the summer. Played on the land. And then back to the hustle and bustle. But the South is hustle and bustle, now. But it's still a lot of places in the South where it's just like, it's still family on the land. But y'all want to pretend like it's not. That's not so. You still have families. You have families that did not lose their heirs' property. Never lost it. That's one side of my family never lost it. The other side of my family, shit, ran off it. Fighting. Struggle. Part of is a military base. Dang. So don't pretend like all this shit didn't happen to us. By moving us to Africa means that all this stuff is a figment of our imagination. Slavery, lynchings, redlining, Jim Crow, taking the commodities from us. Literally, it's a figment of our imagination, guys. It never happened. That's what'll happen if you move all of us to this African A6 union shit. 56, we're the 56th state of the United States of the fuck Africa. Who asked for that? I sure didn't ask for it. Our elders didn't sell us out. Not ours. Our elders told us the real. Our elders told us we was from here. Our elders did not sell us out. I don't know who said that. Our elders did not sell us out. If it weren't for our elders telling us who we were, we would have been ran over to Dashiki land a long time ago. If our elders didn't teach us these recipes, teach us these herbs, we would have been ran over to Fufu Kingdom a long time ago. We would have been happy dancing in the goddamn villages with dirt orange feet and orange eyeballs if our ancestors wouldn't have told us the real. My daddy told me that Black Americans, Negroes, Indians, coloreds created smokehouses. My daddy told me how they used to cut branches off a tree and grow a whole nother tree, a whole nother fruit tree. What side of the tree to cut on, how to cut it, when to cut it. And then when I read these old ass books that I got, it's the same shit my daddy taught me. It's the same shit my daddy said long ass time ago. I wasn't paying attention because I wasn't finna cut a tree at the time, but I knew how to when I get ready to. When I got ready to start my Hello Plants farm, I knew how to do it because my daddy already said that. The old people taught him that. So our ancestors and our elders did not sell us out at all whatsoever. They told us everything. That's how we hanging on to stuff. That's why we never looked at our cuisine as slave food like they tried to tell us it was. You're not finna try to tell me this is slave food and you're eating it too. How is this the scraps? How are you telling me that this, our culture, our cuisine is the scraps, but the scraps is what everybody eat today? And y'all lied. Y'all lied. And y'all try to make our ancestors look crazy. You try to make our grandparents look crazy. You made everybody look like liars, trying to make us look like liars today. And then you just swiped our whole story. I don't care about them swiping the slave ship shit story. I don't care about them swiping that. But baby, don't be swiping accomplishments. Don't be swiping whole historical figures over here in America like it was you. You nigga, what y'all invented? When have y'all ever stood up to white people? We're the only ones that do that. Don't sit here and act like we pussies. You ain't just see what happened at the Montgomery Ball the other day. Don't act like the Montgomery Ball happened a decade ago. We still kicking ass today. White people don't fight us directly. They never did. We ain't never lost in them fight. That's why white people don't fight us. They use y'all. They use other races of people to do that shit, and it's always covert. It's never face to face, 1-on-1, 10-on-10, 100-on-100. Never, because white people understand what has happened throughout history. This stuff is recorded. I can read y'all a story that I got out of the government file. It's very interesting. See, some of the wars go on the front side of history. Some of the wars go archived. See, that's the story I go for. I don't give a damn what you put out in the forefront. It's cool, but I want to see what happened before y'all start calling this stuff theaters. What happened before you start calling this stuff theaters? We ain't never lost in a fight. That's what treaties came in the first place. All right, we tired of fighting y'all. We're tired. Let's make a deal. That's where that shit came from. White people know that. The white people who've been over here, who got ancestors over here for a long time, they know that. That's why they don't fuck with us like that. They know it's always been treaties between them and us. They know that. We don't fight. We don't fight. The white people who've been over here for a long time and the black people who've been over here forever, we don't fight. They get other people to do it. They fight systematically. That's how they fight us. They fight us through the system. They don't physically fight us. White people do not physically fight us. They do it through the system. We'll redline your whole nigga neighborhood, and you go in and try to get a line of credit, denied. You go in and try to get a credit card, denied. That's how they fight. It ain't no physical fight. Now, if they want to take you out, all that shit's gonna be covert, and then they're gonna pay a crash dummy to get it done. And the Africans are the fuck crash dummies because they never stick up for themselves. The amount of white people in this African diaspora, the amount of white and Arab people in this African diaspora is alarming. Ain't no way y'all want us in that. It ain't no way y'all trying to tell us we the same. We ain't never been Arabs. Now, that's for sure. The Arabs don't like us. They come put their little gas stations in our goddamn neighborhood and don't say nothing to us. Now, how they get their own, how they get to broker their own deals, get all the gas stations over here in America, took the shit directly from us. Because we're the ones that had the oil. So how we had the oil, but they have the gas stations. Make it make sense. They get to broker their own deals with the government, and then they get to come in and backdoor another set of money through the African diaspora. Y'all crazy as hell. You know, I just don't understand, guys. I just don't understand. That's why I had to come on here and talk to y'all to see whether maybe one of y'all understood. I don't understand. I don't understand. I ain't never seen nothing like this. I've never seen a culture overtaken like this. Never. Never. I never seen it. I ain't never seen it. And y'all can go to African Diaspora, this fucking African Union shit. Go on their website for yourself. I'm not making this up. I didn't build that website. That's not coming from my server. It's a huge website with all kind of stuff on it. Nigeria got one too. They all connected. And they all have these missions. Like 2063 by 20 whatever. We want to be known as the global empire for culture and arts. We want to be respected on the global world stage. You've been around since 1963. You ain't respected yet. But then put us in it. And then, in fact, it wouldn't even hurt to go all the way back to 1963. I'm just telling you, I can't do it because I got a whole lot on my plate. I can't do it. But I'm going to pass the torch to anybody in the chat who want to go all the way back to 1963. And I think another thing that I saw that's very interesting. When old boy made us African Americans in the 80s. The African Union changed their name around 91, right after that. Because the African Union didn't just used to be AU. It used to be old something AU. But they wanted to be more marketable. So around 1991, 1992 or something around that era, they changed their name to the African Union. And now it matches what Jesse Jackson just did. So I would say somebody research that and see whether goddamn that's a tie or something. I would say research it if somebody got some free time, research it just to see if that was a tie. And if it was, then all this shit gotta be done undone at the same time. Because you did this because of this, because y'all was working together clearly. Or could be a coincidence. Could be a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. Thank you so much, Rashid, for the super chat. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate I got you, Ashley. I got you. Thank you so much, Gremlin Cinnamon. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. David Johnson. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, I've always heard they know exactly what food, chemicals, or proteins affect each different group of people and how they can affect us positively or negatively. Now, man, I'm telling you, now they're trying to do something where they're trying to, I guess some legislation was passed where they have to now label whether they put the vax inside of food. Who told y'all to put the vax inside of food? So what happens to... What if I ain't want to take it? Y'all just ease it inside of food. So now it's like, I don't know, what is this, guys? I can't. I never got on here and said I proclaim to know everything. You know, I'm just a great researcher. I can find some stuff. I can find some stuff, guys. That's really just the bulk of me. I'm not a complex person. I just know how to find stuff. I know how to research. You know, I can't unpack it all. You know, some stuff I see, I can't even unpack it all. You know, it takes a while sometimes, depending on what the subject matter is. I never said I was just the smartest person in the world. You know, I'm about half spiritual, half physical as it relates to smarts. A lot of my stuff come before I actually see it, if that makes sense. It comes before I actually understand it, if that makes sense. Like I get an unction and then I go research something. But that unction gives me the understanding of what I just researched, if that makes sense. Not to sound deep. But then some stuff, my curiosity piques. And if it's just curiosity, then I may not understand exactly what I'm researching. And I'll just table the matter until I can figure it out. But as it relates to this, I said last week, I said, I got the same feeling that I had during COVID. I said that on one of them videos before I unraveled all this, before I saw all of this. And I said I wasn't trying to take on, another project or nothing, but I feel the same way I felt during COVID. And I had never felt that in my life. Like I really turned warlike during that era. I really started protecting myself and people around me during that era. And I ain't even no military person. I've never been in the military or nothing like that. I went and got gun training and all kind of stuff to protect myself first, and then, people around me. I even had a mission on here one time, circle the block, where a lot of us was going into neighborhoods, just circling the block, make sure we see no danger. I don't know who all remember that. I don't know who I remember that, but we was really trying to just be protective. I don't know who I remember that circle the block mission we was doing that time. Everybody was in different states, finding the block, circling neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods where elders were, just making sure they didn't need nothing. We did that on this. Well, that was the big channel we did that on, but we all did that as just concerned citizens, But if somebody's clearly trying to go to war with us, so we don't even have to say if somebody's trying to go. If somebody is going to war with us, it's just hard to say. It's just hard for me to come out and say it, because it's like we really don't bother nobody. So why would somebody, somebody is trying to go to war with us, and it's covert, and it's on something that we're not supposed to understand. But spirit will give you the unction and you will understand it. You know what I'm saying? I think veterans will need to get involved with this one. Veterans will need to get involved with this one. And I don't really be calling veterans out. I let y'all, y'all got enough problems trying to get your damn benefits and all this kind of stuff. But, when people say World War III, I always put it in its context. You could have called the war something else, but you call it World War III. During World War III, the military was segregated. Black men was fighting by themselves, and they were sending them over to areas where there was not even a fight. So a brigade of them would get sent to somewhere, and they're just over there waiting. And while that was happening, you had German soldiers inside of America wreaking havoc, taking land, and when those soldiers came back in, and this stuff is still, some of this stuff is still on the record. When a lot of those soldiers came back from war, they came back to chaos, and they had to fight two battles. They called it fighting two battles, one in the foreign theater and one at home. So for them to call this World War III, is it saying that same thing would happen? Because why didn't they call it something else? AI war, or just come up with another name for the war? You saying World War III implies to me that this is going to be a segregated issue where black men will be segregated. Although you're fighting together, you will be segregated to an extent. whatever the case may be, if we go into full scale war, warriors will be gone. The warriors will be gone. We're gonna be over here by ourselves. We're gonna be by ourselves. So I don't know. I don't wanna get scared. I don't wanna scare none of the women in the chat. I know the men ain't scared. They don't fear like we fear. But pay attention to what this Donald Trump and Putin, because they started arguing today and going back and forth today. So I would just pay attention to them to see what it look like they trying to start something. You know, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know, guys. I just don't know. Somebody said, I'm not fighting no World War III. Exactly. When nobody want to fight. We're the people that don't want. See, we don't want wars. But it's a group of people who want war. They're money hungry. They have a mission, and they've always had this same 100, 200 year mission. You know, they spread the wars out, and it could be a 50-year count or a 100-year count. And it's the same playbook. That's why history is so important. And knowing history is a superpower, because you can almost sense it. You can almost sense it because you've seen it somewhere before. Like, I've seen this before. Yeah, because there was a global influenza before the world wars. There was one before the Civil War. So maybe this is a plan. And then when you read it in its full context, it's like, okay, this is how they do it. You know, and maybe it goes all the way back to the doctrine of discovery. I have an old book that I haven't unpacked all the way yet. But in the book, it was talking about battles between the Son of Man and the Son of God. And it came from the White House archives. Old book. It came from the White House archives. And I'm just like, how? No way they could be following the same plan, right? Like, they would have been deviated by now, right? No way they could be following the same blueprint against us, the original people. You know, I'm just tired. I'm tired of this. I'm tired. We don't want to fight nobody. We be really, we mind our own business. We don't really bother anybody. We don't pick fights. Now, you will get Montgomery Brawl if you start a fight with us, but that's just how we are as people. We just want to live on our land, mind our business, farm our land, have good businesses, make good products, take care of our family, and that's it. And live a good life without somebody coming online every day trying to take our culture. You take our culture, you drive our blood pressure up, and that constricts your blood vessel. Now you got high blood pressure. And they always want to keep you in this state of fight or flight. That's it. That it seems like that's the goal. That's why I don't be online for a long period of time. If I'm online for a long period of time, I'm on here. I'm not on social media for long periods of time. I'm on there, post and go. Because I cannot, for one, I don't have that much free time. And for two, if I do have that much free time, I can't take some of the stuff that I see. I don't like when people are mistreated, whether it's about the diaspora or anything else. I can't take it. I don't like when people are mistreated, especially a person who's innocent. A person who's innocent had done that. I don't like seeing posts like that. So I have to comment. I always feel that stuff. And so with all of this stuff being bombarded on you, that keeps you in a certain state of fight or flight. You cannot afford to be in fight or flight, because that means your blood vessels are constricted. That causes way too much harm if your blood vessels are consistently constricted and you can't relax. It causes even worse problems in men. So men definitely shouldn't be seeing all this stuff all the time, because it causes worse problems in the man's whole system, their whole body, from the head all any part of their body you can think of is affected by this. So men need to preserve their fight or flight. Women, we don't need to be in fight or flight either at all, because that's how you die. High blood pressure, heart problems. Your blood vessels are constricted. That means the blood is not flowing to your heart like it's supposed to, and all this rapid burst of blood, it's AFib, and now you got all this stuff, and really you have to relax. I'm a type of person, I smell flowers, I smell coffee, I stop and smell these things. I'll stop and admire flowers or roses or whatever. I'll stop and look at birds. Sometimes you just have to pause, because it's a lot of information coming to you all the time. It's a lot of information for us to unpack and dissect, and a lot of it has to do with us. And it's always these daggers always being thrown at you. Some of the shit we have to just stop and observe. We can't be clueless about it. We have to observe this stuff, and really, you got to plan, observe, and plan. Because one thing's for sure, can't always be in fight or flight arguing. If you're spending too much time arguing, then you're not planning. You're not observing. You're not protecting. And men are great at compartmentalizing these things. That's a superpower of a man. Y'all can compartmentalize shit. You spend this much time planning, this much time family, this much time work. We have to have planners to do that stuff. We are pulled in so many directions, and just Lipsy, now I'm planning makeup, but now I'm a freedom fighter, and now I'm this, and now I'm that, and now I'm that's just how hormones work. Y'all don't have all those hormones in y'all body. So, that's that. I will tell y'all a funny story before we get off here. I've been trying to get off here for a long time, but really I haven't. Somebody said in this African Union website that the Esteban Nico was in Chickasaw territory. There are great stories out about Chickasaws. One of the stories that I always remembered was how the Chickasaw men treated the Chickasaw women. And when the women were on their periods, their menses, the men built the women separate houses. Today we call it a she shed, but the Chickasaw kingdom was what it was called at the time. The men built their women moon houses. Y'all can look this up. I think it's so great. The men built their women moon houses because these men was those type of warriors. They built their women moon houses, so when they had their periods, they pushed them off into a whole nother house, because the men didn't want to deal with the influx of emotions. The men didn't even eat off the same silverware as their women when they were on their period. And when you look at that time, that period in time when America was really protected, men was really aware of how to push stuff and compartmentalize these things, because they ain't want all those emotions. You got to guard your surroundings. You're guarding the Mississippi River. You're guarding Mississippi. It's oil, all kind of come out. It's gold. It's silver in Mississippi. It's all kind of stuff in Mississippi. They tried to make it as if these people were just nomadic. But when you read stories like that, it's like, oh, well, they wouldn't even eat out silverware. So they wasn't nomadic, because they're talking about silverware just in this story. So yeah, it is a kingdom. So what all did the Chickasaw people have? Why are y'all just calling them Chickasaw and diminishing them down to some people who was just there nomadic? They wasn't eating with their hands, and this story is 1500s. Most people was eating with their hands. Still, shit, some still to this day. But the Chickasaw people would not even eat off their women's silverware in the 1500s if they was on their period. So, you know, a lot of the stuff that we're told about the history is to be questioned. You know, it's to be questioned. Y'all can look up what I'm saying. It's you just go Chickasaw moon houses or something, and then you'll see what I'm saying. Thank you so much for the super chat, Susu. I appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all for the support. Yeah, like I said, I ain't mean to come over here and do this, but I just had to bring this to y'all attention. I think something going on. I think we need to share this, put our eyes on this. If it's 14, 50 million, 1,000 of us left in America, and all 1,014 or 50 million need to put our eyes on this, even if it's just for 1 hour or 30 minutes. We need to dedicate 10 minutes, whatever, to this subject matter of how all this money just got swiped in our name. What if something bad happens, a bad debt happened, and now because this happened, this money was taken in our name, and a bad debt happened, and someone not paid back or something, whatever. What if somebody come after us about this? Stuff we didn't even know about. What if somebody decide? You know, I'm just saying, spend 10 minutes thinking about it. Don't spend the whole day, because I know y'all got kids. I know y'all got stuff to do. But just think about it. That's all I'm asking. Just think about it. Just think about it. Anyway, for everybody who signed the change.org, thank you. We're going to just keep this going for a little while, and then we're going to go take this to the next step. Do not donate to this. Just sign it and share it. Just share it, because when you click on the link and share it, it's better than signing, because I don't know what they did with our money, because they did not send this campaign out. They're not sending it out. So it's better to just share it, really. And for us to not just depend on them to share it. I composed the email. I did send the email out. But I did like a test email just to see what'll happen. I think I'm gonna send a bigger email out and just try it. Only thing is my emails are not all us. It's other people in there. I got my Hello Plants. I don't know the colors of everybody who buy from Hello Plants. I just don't know. I don't know all the colors. I could guess, but I don't ask for people's color. But you see black folk on the website, I would think that, you know who this for. You don't see me in these feathers, but I never know. And when you're dealing with business contacts and stuff, it get a little, it can be a gray area. So I gotta be careful. But anyway, thank y'all for signing the change.org. We got to get this stuff changed. We have got to get this stuff changed. We'll talk later on this week. I was supposed to do a show tomorrow, but this was kind of urgent, so I was like, I just got to talk to somebody about this. So yeah. It says what now? It says okay. I must have put the wrong page. Oh, I'm sorry. I see what I just did. My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. I had clicked on the page that I had clicked on the dashboard that I be showing y'all. I'm sorry. This is a link. Y'all, I got 1 thumbs down this video. I don't know who would give it a thumbs down, because this is an urgent matter. Maybe we did have somebody from the African Union came in here and saw that we were on to them. I don't know. But either way, guys, no matter what you call yourself, FBA, ADOS, DOS, African American, no matter what you call yourself, if you are from America, your grandparents here, your great grandparents here. Do not let the name draw you apart. We don't got time to be drawn apart. The name is one part of it. The war is a totally different part. So don't go and argue about this at all. Just take a mental note of it, and because you don't know who done took money. You don't know what. We don't know what. We don't know what. We just know it look weird. But don't argue about it. Do not argue about it. Trust me. The war that look like it's being waged on us, that's what we need to focus on. We gonna focus on this name change too. But all of this stuff was just nicknames anyway. We won't even have to argue over nicknames. We won't have to argue over nicknames, not us. No, we don't. So, I love y'all so much. I will see y'all later on this week. Please share the live. Talk to you later. Bye.